You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. We're joined with our next guest in the studio, Gareth. He's going to be talking all about Turning Point. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us this evening.
It's my pleasure.
I was hoping perhaps you could tell us a little bit about Turning Point and give us a bit of an introduction.
Yeah, well, Turning Point is a leading social enterprise that provides health and social care services for people with complex needs. The organisation employs around about 3,000 people over 200 locations across England and Wales. And for the past 50 years, we've worked with those affected by mental health conditions, offending behaviour, unemployment issues, people with learning disabilities, and drug and alcohol misuse, which is one of the services that we specialise in Swale and East Kent, is obviously supporting people with substance misuse. Our services in Swale, and in East Kent generally cover the areas of Thanet, Sheppey, Canterbury, Dover, and Ashford, as well as we've got what we call a rolling recovery vehicle that gets out and about and that can offer support to people with substance misuse issues in hard to reach areas.
So what is your role within the organisation?
Well, my role is that of what we call a recovery worker, and I work with individuals who present with substance misuse issues to ultimately tailor make a sort of plan, a recovery package suitable for what their ultimate goal is. Now, if their ultimate goal is to become drug and alcohol free, we'll work with that individual, whether it's one-to-one key working, group work. We have an internet package, so we really tailor make a care package so that individual feels supported and can take their journey through into recovery.
I know you next wanted to talk about new locations, or you've been in a new location.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has come up when we've been speaking to people sort of across Swale, and especially in Sheerness, was that people seem to think Turning Point in Sheerness has disappeared. We had a site, an office, where people could drop in on Trinity Road. And what it was that the ethos of Turning Point and East Kent is out there everywhere. So to be out there everywhere, it was felt that the service needed to sort of change with the ethos and move to existing sort of community areas where there was already good work going on. So we have an office in Sheerness, we have an office in the Healthy Living Centre, which is where obviously the gymnasium and the swimming pool is. That is an appointment only. And then we have an office at the rear of the job centre. So towards the back of the job centre there is a side door with its own bell where people can come and they can push the bell if they just want a little bit of advice and information. It was done to make sure that we're accessible, so anybody with needs feels that they can come to a place and they can feel safe in that place. There was always that big bit of a stigma with people queuing up outside of the door and people know what you were there for. Well, we've tried to get away from that. So, like I say, so people feel safe and people feel supported in their recovery journey.
Now, I know you next wanted to cover working out of existing community hubs. Well,
yeah, Swale's a relatively big area. When you incorporate sort of Faversham and Sittingbourne, the service that Turning Point offer for substance misuse, it just isn't unique to Sheerness. We have our main office, which is located in Sittingbourne. That offers a drop-in surgery. So if people wanted some advice and information, or just wanted to talk to somebody, then they can come to that service sort of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. They can just push the bell, come in, and they can speak to somebody just for sort of information. We also have an office in Faversham, so people in Faversham feel that they're supported. Okay, that office is appointment only, so you'd need to again contact our sitting-born surgery to try and make that appointment. And like I said, we've got our sites in Sheerness, at the Healthy Living Centre, at the Job Centre, and one of the things that we have been doing recently is linking up with the local GPs, offering obviously support to clients from the GP surgeries. So if a GP feels that it's beneficial to their surgery, then we'll certainly get out and get into that surgery and offer support from site. And like I said earlier, with the rolling recovery vehicles, we get them out and about on a needs-led basis. So if we're aware that there's some issues in an area, we'll get the rolling recovery vehicle out there and we'll offer people support. We'll take that support to people, so they can get the help that they obviously need and that they want.
And I know you next wanted to talk about the festive period.
Yeah, obviously we're just running into December, and obviously Christmas is looming. So I think one of the things that we wanted to get across from this was obviously that during the festive period, that many people have a tendency to act more recklessly than they do at other times of the year. And that includes obviously misusing alcohol and drugs. I think in many ways drinking in particular is more acceptable at the Christmas time than any other times of the year. And obviously one thing that we're aware of is that this can be a problem in two ways. You probably know yourself that you have a tendency to drink in a risky manner, okay, especially at Christmas time. That can mean sort of excessive drinking or drinking every day, okay, and then you've got obviously all the social engagements and the Christmas parties of the festive period that can make it more difficult than usual to remain in control of sort of your alcohol intake. I think obviously as well, if people are aware or know someone who's got a tendency that they can drink too much or are going to start sort of misusing substances during the sort of the Christmas period, it can be much harder to spot if someone is starting to behave in a risky way. Now, we don't want to be seen as like we're sat here like preaching, but we want people to have fun at Christmas time. But it's really important to look after yourself and those that you care about and that you love, and to make sure that high spirits don't turn into something sort of more damaging. And that's just obviously drinking aware, knowing your limits. Obviously, the Drink Drive campaign is going on with the government at the minute, okay, and using in moderation. Now, obviously, with the likes of sort of poly drug uses, somebody who's drinking alcohol, which is obviously a depressant, and possibly using cocaine is a stimulant. That's what we mean sort of by the poly drug use, using two different substances, and that has its risks in itself. But we always say, what we're trying to say is in moderation, things in moderation are okay, but be very aware of what you're doing. And if you're not sure, or you think somebody is maybe drinking too much or using too much drugs, or, then get in contact with us and sort of give us a call, and maybe we can offer the advice and the information that you need to be able to support them better.
I know you next wanted to talk about how to deal with it if those around you are misusing drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I think one of the key points that we want to get out and across to people today is that obviously, again, with it being the festive season and alcohol intake is generally increased, domestic violence increases nationally. And what we want to say to people is, obviously, if somebody's in a position where they are they feel in danger, they're being abused, and they're in immediate danger, then the best advice we can give and the safest is to obviously dial 999 and contact the police. In addition, if you've got concerns about somebody's physical well-being, then don't be afraid to obviously give us a call or speak to your GP. Seek medical attention. One of the worst things you can do is leave people who are generally feeling unwell and knowing that they may have had way too much to drink, or they've potentially used some drugs during an evening out or something like that. Don't be afraid to seek that advice. And if you just want, again, some advice and information, Turning Point in Swale offer what we call a 5-step program. Now, that 5-step program's aimed at loved ones, sort of partners, husbands, wives, mums, dads, and it's about how you can support somebody in treatment or who wants to come into treatment, and how best ways you can approach it. So it's important that obviously just give us a call and seek some information if you're not sure.
So how do service workers develop a programme of treatment?
I think it's important to remember that there's no sort of one type of person who is at risk of developing a substance misuse problem, and there's absolutely no shame in anybody seeking help. Okay, people shouldn't consider it a failure that they've had to knock on the door to ask for some support. And they should take the positives that actually it's a step in their journey, it's a step in their recovery to make themselves a better person. Now, we see people from all ages and all walks of life, and for every new person that accesses our service, we develop a package of care to help them deal with not just the physical and psychological effects of substance misuse, but also to help them tackle other underlying issues in their lives. And that's why again I go on the ethos about the out there everywhere. We feel it's important to be with other agencies and working closely with partners to be able to support people, because drug and alcohol use it can be an underlining problem to something else, whether it be mental health concerns, whether it's debt problems, and people are using and drinking to bury the feelings. So by having these links and getting out there, we tailor make the package to suit the individual. So if somebody's working, for instance, we're very aware that they're probably not going to be able to come to group sessions during the day. So we can tailor a package around them. We offer, from our Sittingbourne site, we offer evening surgeries. I know we're in the process of opening on Saturdays as well, to be able to support everybody. Drug and alcohol misuse is 365 days of the year, 24 hours a day. People don't stop using drugs or drinking when we shut our doors at 5 o'clock. So there's always support there. We've got a single point of contact telephone number, which I'll give out at the end, where people can ring up and seek support and advice out of hours, so from 5 o'clock or on Saturdays, just so they can get their support. One of the things that we believe is that the effective approach to promoting long-term recovery and helping people live the life they want to live. We find that so important, and it's the ethos of what we try to do. Yeah, everybody's unique, everybody's an individual, and by able to sit down and talk to people, some people just might come for 1 or 2 sessions and actually start to gain some sort of control on their lives. Other people might be 3 or 4 months. There's no time scale. We don't get people in and say, actually, you've got 3 days and then you're drug free. There's no miracle cure. Everybody is unique, and some people take longer. Some people will be shorter. But like I say, we are person centered on the individual needs, and I think one thing that I want to get out there as well is the fact that it's a confidential service. If people, if they just want to talk to somebody in relation to the drug use and they don't want anybody else to know, that's absolutely fine. We are totally confidential. Alternatively, if they want support from other agencies, then we can refer them on and we can get the support that they need to be able to move forward and live the life they want to live.
You're next going to talk about the peer mentoring programme.
Our peer mentoring programme, we understand that reducing or ending the use of alcohol or other substances can be extremely difficult for some people, and particularly when they have used them for a long time. And that's why we invite many of those in the latter stages of the recovery to come back to Turning Point and peer mentors to offer support help and advice to those that are starting to begin their recovery journey. And that we understand that hearing from someone who has been recently through similar struggles to yourself can make it easier to tackle the challenges out of recovering from a dependency on alcohol or drugs. Our peer mentors are able to give advice and guidance based on their first-hand experience. So it just allows anybody new into service to feel that there is support from all angles, and not just somebody sat at a desk filling in forms. It's the human approach, and that actually the key workers have got a vast amount of knowledge, and the the peer mentors, they can support firsthand and give that much needed guidance to what people need.
Do you have any useful contact details for our listeners?
Well, yeah. One of the things, obviously, people can now self-refer on our Turning Point website, which is www.turning-point.co.uk. You can follow us on Twitter, which is Turning Point UK, or you can contact us on our single point of contact, which is 0300 123 1186.
Well, look, thank you very much for coming along and telling us all about Turning Point this evening.
Thank you very much.
You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show right here on BRFM this evening.